What's up, guys? Today we are going to be discussing Joker 2. I don't know, I forgot what the official title of the film is, but Joker 2, that's the film. I will say, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. Contrary to popular opinion of other individuals, I really enjoyed this film. What I will say as a caveat for those who may be thinking about watching this film, anyone who has suffered any type of mental health problems, whether currently or in the past, if you're going through any type of difficulties right now in your life, this is not the film for you. I'll just simply say that. This isn't the film for you. I think it will exacerbate any problems, any type of mental anguish you're going through. Having said that, people were telling me that the film was horrible, don't watch it, you shouldn't go see it, it's the worst film ever, yada, 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 yada. Despite that, I went in, to the film, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a trash film. I'm looking to drag this film. I'm looking to do a review and just completely take a big old pile on this film. In contrary, I actually enjoyed this film and I got a new perspective on as far as the mental health as a whole. And I think that in and of itself was a little too real for people. I think that's why a lot of people are feeling betrayed by this film. Because if you juxtapose this with the first film, I won't say it's night and day, but it's a realistic conclusion. I think the film is a little too real for people. When you had the first one, where you had this guy who was giving the middle finger, to society and like, hey, some people just aren't all right and you get what you deserve. And it was like, yeah. And that was the first half, right? And it's kind of like, if you were to wild out, in the store or wild out during whatever it is, and you go off the rails, you're just like, and at that moment, you feel good. That Joker 1 is that feel-good moment. And then Joker 2 is all of the consequences that stem from your actions, right? This man on national television yeeted somebody, right? He took someone's life on national television. 6 people on, in total, right? And you have to understand that there's gonna be consequences. People expect him to be, he's gonna, break out free. I don't know what people were thinking, but in the real world, there are consequences for your actions. There are consequences for your behavior. And I think what this movie does really well is show that. Is show that, hey, not everything is gonna wind up okay. Not everything is peaches and cream. The person who loses their job, right? Sometimes they go homeless and sometimes they don't get another job. That's correct. Sometimes they don't get another job despite all their hard work, despite all their efforts. No, sometimes that person remains homeless and dies homeless and nobody remembers them. Nobody, not even their family. In some cases, it may be their family who are like, good, I'm glad you're homeless and I'm glad you're no longer here. And it really goes to show that, sometimes people are trash. People are mean. People are evil. People are manipulative. And I think that element was too much of a mirror for a lot of people. It was too real for a lot of people watching this film. Because, I think a lot of people are in, desperate situations. I think a lot mentally people aren't in the best, mindsets right now. And seeing a film like this is really, bludgeoning them on the head with the fact that, hey, you know what? That you may actually perish. That, sometimes things may not go well. I know you think that you're gonna get up tomorrow morning, but guess what? Many people don't, okay? And I know you think you're gonna get the raise at your job and your child is gonna, go to school and they're gonna do good grades and you hope and you wish and you pray and all that. Sometimes your prayers don't get fulfilled. Sometimes your child doesn't come home, right? Because something happened, okay? Sometimes you get fired from your job. Sometimes you don't get that promotion, even though you deserved it. Sometimes you don't. That sometimes the world isn't fair. That life isn't fair. And I think that, in a nutshell, I accepted that from this film. I accepted it. And it hit you over the head with that theme, with that of saying, hey, there are people out there that are going through things. There are people out there that may have not had a mother and father, or worse, they had a mother and father and they were absent, or they didn't care about them, or they were abusive. Okay? Sometimes they have friends or loved ones, or maybe a wife or girlfriend, a father, a husband, whatever, that didn't care for them, that was abusive, whether it was emotionally, physically, mentally. Maybe there are people out there that maybe call themselves friends, that are just there to use you, right? They are there to project onto you what they, expect of themselves. And the moment you don't fall into their category in which they like, they're gone. They leave you, and you are left with nothing. Sometimes that empty hole that you have in your heart because of a loved one or, because of a job or whatever it is, sometimes it doesn't get fulfilled. Sometimes it never gets filled, and you just die with that hole in your heart, okay? And I think that message was a little too much for people. Genuinely, I think that message was a little too much for me. For me, honestly, I appreciated it. I genuinely appreciated it, okay? Because it gave me, it made it real that there are people who are mentally going through things. And you don't think about that. Unless you have a firsthand experience, unless you're dealing within the family, there's a litany of things that are real to people that most people are just like, all right, let me turn the channel. That there are people out there who are being abused in prison. That there are people there that are wrongfully convicted. That there are people out there who, their loved ones did turn on them. That there are people in there who believe in an alternate reality, and they create coping mechanisms to protect their mindset, right? Their headspace from the cruel, harsh realities of this world. I get that. I absolutely get that. And, I think this film is a testament to that. I really enjoyed this film. I think, like I said, I think a lot of people, if you're going through anything, if you have some tough times, if you're an incel or anything like that, I think you're not going to enjoy this film. I think you're going to feel betrayed. I think you're going to go into this film expecting, hey, let's see the Joker and everything. And it's going to be like, hey, this is the reality of someone like the Joker. There is no Batman. There is no billionaire who's gonna put on a cape and mask and save you. Sometimes you don't get saved. Sometimes, the hero is not there. Sometimes you get screwed over. And that's life. That's it. That's it. That is the cruel, joke. That is life. That is existence. And, I think like I said, I think that's a bit much for people to take in from a movie. I think that's a bit much, especially coming off of Joker 1. I think to have this harsh reality check of what did you expect to happen? That's honestly what I got from what did you expect to happen? What, do you think this guy who did these murders on national television, do you think he was gonna have a happy ending? Is that what you think? What, you thought he was just gonna go around and prance? Is that what you thought? Really? Is that what you thought? And it's very interesting because every now and then the movie gives you it gives you, hope, and then it removes it. It crushes that hope. Gives you hope and then it crushes it. Gives you hope and then it crushes it. Gives you hope and then it crushes it. All the way up until the end. And I think that's a bit much. I think most people will not be able to handle that. Most people will not be able to handle that at all. I think people who've either made it out of that dark spot in their life or who haven't really gone through, something to this degree, I think they're going to appreciate it. Because okay, that's right. This is the world. That, the person who's at the cashier may be having a bad day. That the person who's, trying to cut me off, maybe they're trying to get to their loved one in the hospital. Or maybe that person is just an ass. Maybe. All right? And I think it really shows, life for what it is. I think that's what it shows. And I appreciated it. I loved it very much. Would I ever watch it again? Hell to the no. I would never watch this movie again. But I'm glad that I watched it the first time because it can be depressing. It absolutely can be depressing. And I think anyone who's in a position of not really clear headspace, yeah, they're not gonna like this movie. You'd probably walk out because it's too real. It cuts a little too close to home in many regards, especially if you have a very, troubling upbringing. Because it tackles all of that, bro. It tackles all of that. Like everything from his mother, from, friends and family, everything from, figures of authority, just abusive and taken advantage of. Just cruel. And it's just a reality that some people have they have cruel families, right? They have cruel experiences. That not everyone, has that good friend of theirs that they can call up. Not everyone has that loving parent that they can call up and be like, this is what I'm going through. Not everyone has another person even that they can call up and just exchange, the emotion, the emotional trauma that they're going through. Not everyone has the money to even go to therapy and actually heal. So I really appreciated this film. I really did, very much so. That's the video. Let me know what you guys think, whether or not you like the film, whether you dislike the film. I know there were people that actually walked out, as crazy as that is. Like I said, I think it was too real for a lot of people. Let me know what you guys think, and until next time, guys, keep animating.
So I'm gonna be honest, a lot of you motherfuckers did not understand this film. A lot of you people that basically hate this film, you went either with the wrong mindset. I didn't, because I understood the first Joker and how it was presenting itself, in the sense that this is grounded, this is based on reality, this is not fiction. Meaning, for example, on how Joker was having, Arthur was getting treated in our society, and that in his head, he believed this is how things should go down. Again, mind you, in his head, how he believes things should go down, and that's what we were seeing. And then after that was shown to us, then they showed us the part where what reality shows. And that's no different, just like in the first film, that's no different from the second film. That's where he believed what should have happened, in the sense that he escaped prison, he lives this life, he has a crowd, his army, again, all of his head, and then they basically show us reality. That's the joke. And that basically throws the joke at you, how a lot of us do that. A lot of us in society basically do that. We imagine things in our head, how things should go, until reality basically kicks in and it doesn't go the way you expect it. Labeling Joker 2 a hot garbage piece of trash, then technically, why is it that the first Joker is a masterpiece? Because essentially all the Joker 2 did is do what the first film did. Basically show what it was in his head, and then basically at the very, very end of the film, okay, now show reality. That's what the Joker 2 basically did. It essentially did the basically the same shit as Joker 1. So by your own logic, by your own argument, you technically should have hated the first Joker. It should be hot garbage. So if you consider the first Joker a masterpiece, but then the Joker 2 garbage, this doesn't equate. This does not make any sense. You see what I mean? Now, you guys might say, well, this is really a waste of time. Like, I don't really want to spend my whole time watching someone's little what's going on in their head to then later find out about reality. I rather just care about reality. Exactly. This movie is essentially mirroring us, because that's what we do as a society. This movie is essentially just mirroring you, because we do that. We basically get stuck in our little heads, in our little right here, and then reality kicks in. So really what this movie is basically doing is just mirroring us and making fun of what we do. That's the joke. And that's what Arthur says.
That's life. That's life. And as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. But I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and out. And I know one thing. Each time I find myself laying flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. That's life. That's life. But if there's nothing shaking come this here July, I'm gonna roll myself up in a big ball and